1.05%. That's not a typo. That was the real interest rate on a billionaire's 30-year mortgage, while regular families paid more than triple. And he could have bought the house in cash before breakfast. Today, the same game is still running. The average credit card in America charges about 21%. The average billionaire borrows at 5 or 6, sometimes 1. Same banks, same vaults, 2 price tags. That's not bad luck. That's the design. Because debt is 2 different products wearing one name, the kind built to make its owner richer, and the kind built to quietly drain you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how the rich kind works. The collateral trick, the loans that buy assets, the bill inflation quietly pays, and how to tell which one is in your wallet. Because every month, you don't see the difference. You're not just paying interest. You're funding the other side. Meet Ben. He's our stand-in for basically everyone. Decent job, okay credit, tired car. Monday morning, the car dies. The repair is $4,000 Ben doesn't have. So he does the responsible thing. He goes to his bank. And his bank has a product waiting. A brand new credit card. The average new offer these days sits right around 24%. Sign here. Ben hesitates. 24 sounds steep. The banker smiles. That's just the standard rate, sir. And honestly, it is. Want to guess what counts as standard upstairs? Ride the elevator to the private floor of that same bank. Different carpet on this floor. Better coffee. Trust me, I've had the coffee. A client up here wants $2 million. Not because his car died. He spotted a building he wants, and he'd rather not sell his stock to get it. Nobody asked for his pay stubs. Nobody lectures him about budgeting. The bank offers the money at around 6%, a quarter of Ben's rate, and thanks him for coming in. Same bank, same vault, same Monday. So why does the man who needs money the most pay the most for it? Hold that question, because it runs the whole machine. The first rule of this game, the less you need the loan, the cheaper the loan gets. It feels backwards. It isn't. Banks don't price you on honesty, or effort, or how much you deserve a break. They price you on one question. A question so cold, most people never think to ask it. Not, can you pay me back? No, the real question is this: what do I take if you can't? That question is the entire divide. Ben's answer? Nothing. If Ben stops paying, the bank repossesses. A used transmission. His loan is a promise. His future paychecks. And promises are risky, so risk gets a price. 24%. The client upstairs? His loan is pinned to his stock portfolio. If he ever misses a payment, the bank presses one button, sells the shares, and is made whole by lunch. Almost no risk, almost no price. The rich don't get cheap money because bankers like their smiles. They get it because they're the only customers who can't cost the bank anything. And this isn't some exotic loophole. It's a standard product. Walk into any wealth office with a big enough portfolio, and there's a line of credit already waiting against it. Single digits. And no lectures. The receipts go all the way up. That 1% mortgage from the open? Mark Zuckerberg, 28 years old, worth billions. And a bank handed him a 30-year mortgage at 1.05%. Banks competed for the privilege. Elon Musk pledged over $60 billion of Tesla stock to unlock $12.5 billion in loans when he went shopping for Twitter. Larry Ellison has pledged hundreds of millions of Oracle shares and borrowed against them for years. At one count, 32 members of the Forbes 400 had stock pledged for credit lines. Read that again. The richest people on earth are swimming in debt on purpose. Their rule is simple: never sell the golden goose. Borrow against it cheap and let it keep laying. Now walk the ladder down. Own a building? Single digits against it. Own a home? Same deal. Own a pile of stock? Same story. Own nothing but next Friday's paycheck? 24. And below that, what does a bank charge someone with nothing left to take? Ask the payday shop on the corner. The average payday loan runs almost 400%. The poorer the collateral, the richer the rate. But the rate is only half the trick. The real separation is what each side buys with the money. Look at what Ben's 24% actually bought. A transmission. Groceries from 4 months ago. One weekend that felt like relief. Things worth less today than the day he swiped. Some worth nothing at all. The debt is still there, growing. The stuff isn't. Now watch the client spend his $2 million. It goes into that apartment building. And here is the play. In round numbers, so you can see it, the tenant's rent covers the loan payment. Every month, other people's money retires his debt. If the building's value climbs just 5%, that's $100,000 earned on money that was never his. The loan buys the asset. The asset pays the loan. The leftover is his. And who actually pays his debt back? Not him. Strangers do. Strangers who mail in rent on the first of every month. That's the whole rich person trick. Debt as a machine that buys machines. And now the part that should make your skin crawl. To the bank, Ben's balance is not a problem. It's a product. On the bank's own books, his debt is recorded as an asset yielding 24% a year, better than almost any stock, bond, or building. Your credit card balance is somebody's best performing investment. Ben thinks he owns a car. On paper, the bank owns a little piece of Ben. So who's really the tenant in this story? He is. The rent is due monthly, and the rate never drops. And once you see whose ledger your balance sits on, you have to ask what the whole portfolio looks like. Brace yourself for this one. So how big is your side of the machine? Grab the receipts. Americans currently owe about $1.25 trillion on credit cards, the deepest that hole has ever been. And in one single year, they handed over roughly $180 billion in credit card interest. Not the debt, just the interest. More than double what it was 4 years ago. Stack the late fees on top, north of $17 billion more. Break that down, and card interest alone drains over $300,000 from American wallets every minute. Before this video ends, that's over $3 million gone. Zoom into one household, and the machine gets personal. A typical revolving balance, $6,500 at about 21%, costs around $114 a month. For the privilege of standing still, $114 that buys no groceries, no gas, nothing. It buys the other side's world, and the same bank runs both ends of the pipe. It pays you a fraction of a percent on your savings, then lends your own deposits back to you at 21, a fraction when they hold your money, 21 when you hold theirs. Same dollars, same building, two prices. Sound familiar? Nobody stole anything. Every cent was signed for. That's what makes it one of the largest quiet money transfers on earth. No heist crew, no getaway car, just auto pay on the first of the month. Millions of Bens, each paying a toll that feels too small to fight. And when prices jumped these past few years, you'd think both kinds of debt got heavier, right? Wrong. This is where the two debts split completely. And inflation, the thing wrecking your grocery bill, is secretly on their payroll. Think about what inflation does to a fixed long-term loan the client borrowed for decades at a price agreed years ago. Then prices rise, rents rise, wages rise. Every dollar gets a little smaller, but his payment stays frozen at the old number. He borrowed strong dollars and repays with shrunken ones, while his building's rent climbs every single year. Inflation quietly files down the real weight of his debt. It's his unpaid employee, working nights, run his numbers 10 years out. The rent has climbed with every lease, and the payment hasn't moved a dollar. The loan that felt heavy in year 1 feels like pocket change in year 10, and he didn't work that off. Time did. Now flip to your side of the ledger. A credit card has no frozen anything. The rate floats, and when rates went up, card rates hit the highest levels ever recorded. So your groceries got more expensive, and the interest on groceries you already ate got more expensive right along with them. Same storm, opposite outcomes. Their debt got lighter. Yours got heavier, month after month. And nobody called to warn you because nothing went wrong. The machine did exactly what it was built to do. So is debt just evil? Wrong question. Debt is a crowbar. In one grip, it pries open buildings, businesses, entire fortunes. In the other grip, it's prying open your wallet. $114 a month, forever. The crowbar doesn't care who's holding it. The only thing that matters is which end you've got. So let me show you how to switch ends. 4 questions. That's the whole test. The rich run every loan through them. Starting today, so do you. Question 1. What does this loan buy? Something that pays me or something that costs me? Debt that buys a cash-flowing asset can make sense. Debt that buys dinner is a trap with a minimum payment. If the thing can't pay you back, keep the debt small enough that you can. Question 2. What's the rate? And is it fixed? Single digits and fixed? You're holding the right end of the crowbar. 20 plus and floating? That's the machine's fuel line, and it's drinking from you. Which makes your card balance emergency number 1 at 21%. Paying it off is the best guaranteed return you will ever find. No stock promises you 21% a year. Your card does. It just pays the bank. Question 3. What's really the collateral? The rich pledge things, buildings, shares, portfolios. When you revolve a card or sign a payday slip, the collateral is you, your future hours, your future paychecks. Never sign away the future you at almost 400%. And question 4. Who does inflation work for here? If the debt is long, fixed, and pinned to a real asset, a sane mortgage is the closest thing to rich person debt. Then inflation files your number down every year exactly like it does theirs. So the rich never rush to repay cheap fixed debt. Every year they wait, it gets lighter on its own. That's the flip. The entire secret in one line. The rich use debt to buy things that pay them with other people's money at prices you will never be offered. And then they let time and inflation handle the repaying. You can't get their price. You can absolutely stop paying yours. Debt was never good or evil. It's a pipe, and money only flows in one direction through it. For the rich, it flows in. For Ben, it flows out. You've just seen the valve. Turn it.